Good evening. I'm just doing a mic test. Can anyone hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yes.
We can hear you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I was like, wow, it's really quiet.
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me okay on the microphone? And online, can you hear me okay? Thank you. All right. So welcome to our April 2026 chapter meeting. Thank you for being here. We appreciate you. My name is Krista Phillips. I am the... Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm happy that you guys are all here. Those of you that are online, thank you for being here. Please put messages in the chat if you need something from us. A-Ray is paying attention to that as well as probably somebody else. Okay, so our vision at PMI PPRC is to be the leading project management resource in our community. And our mission is to empower and inspire individuals to use project management to create excellence in their community. If you have opportunities for us, Carissa, raise your hand. Carissa is our VP of Marketing. Please let her know, and she will help us with that. If you guys want us to talk anywhere, if you need us to talk about project management, we're happy to do that. Thanks, Carissa. She didn't know I was going to do that. All right. So our agenda for this evening, those of you that are in the room, you're having dinner served right now. I will continue to talk to you until about 6:30, and then we will bring Haley up to talk as well. Mark is on deck to talk, and so is Jeff, just for your information if you guys didn't remember that. All right, membership update. We hit the 1,000 mark, you guys. Please do a round of applause. 1,008 PPRC members with 781 PMI certifications. This is important because we know people, or we have people in our membership that can talk to you about pretty much any certification. Now, Brady, I do not see the PMICP on here, so I will find somebody outside for you, Brady. Brady is a new member, you guys, and he was asking specifically for that. But I have contacts, so we will look at that. But this is to let you guys know Obviously, there are people in our membership that don't have a certification, and that's okay. It's also to let you know that if you're looking at a different certification, that you know that there are people out there and you are not alone, and we can connect you with people. That doesn't mean that I'm going to give you their information, but I will contact them and see if they're okay with us connecting the two of you together. All right. So first, we're going to celebrate member anniversaries. For April of 2026, those with 5 years of membership at PMI PPRC are Stephen Hayes, Brett Jackson, Carol Kilbride. For 10 years, David Cervera, Mike Cotter, Jeffrey Husing, Shrikant Mantravati, Jeff Mercer, Jason Pabelico. 15 years, Thomas Molinax. 20 years, Damian Henderson, Russell Chadick. And for 25 years, which pretty much is almost our whole entire time as being PPRC, are Robin Chamberlain, Aileen Ellis, and Cynthia Ritchie. Can we please have a round of applause for these members? Thank you. Thank you very much. And if you see any of these people, say, why aren't you here today? All right. Our new members for April 2026 include Jeffrey Brazel, Megan Clapp, Zachary Conley, Robin Cook, Charles Creemans, Basie Ekpo, Greg Heckathorn, Carissa Home, Carissa Hurt, William Jacobs, Dayona Johnson, Jeffrey Jules, Robert LaRouvere, Hayla Louvier, Kayla Nunez, Nicholas Olson, Eric Orbanes, Bianca Preeb, Jake Renshaw, Belinda Rivera, Kelly Robender, Duchess Rodnez, Christina Sanders, Allison Schnoes, Brady Springer, who's right there, you guys, David Stibbitz, and Ian Van Hork. Let's have a round of applause for our new members. Thank you. All right. And then members with new credentials. Emily Connaughton has her CAPM, Garrett Duff, PMP, Logan Fallon, CAPM, Paul Johnston, PMP, Neil Lyons, PMP, Alexander Mamusica, PMP, Stephanie Myers, PMP, Sarah Osterhus, PMP, Christina Sanders, PMP, Elizabeth Walker, PMP, Michael Wellington, PMP, Sandra Wheeler, PMP, and Kaylee Weeb, PMP. Please a round of applause for them. Thank you. Congratulations, everyone. All right, staying strong for fiscal year 26. Our goal for membership is to reconnect with members who've lost touch with the chapter. We have 300 plus inactive members contacted, and we're trying to rebuild engagement. Let's keep the momentum going and reach out, re-engage, and reignite. I feel like probably some of this initiative is why we went over 1,000. If you know someone that's a project manager, and they're part of our chapter, and you have never seen them at an event, shame them. Tell them, please come and visit us. All right. So at this point, I am going to invite Mark Gazer up here. He is our VP of Volunteers. He's going to talk about volunteer opportunities. Hand of applause for Mark, please.
Thank you, Krista. Hello, everybody. We have a couple of volunteer opportunities. And first, I'd like to talk about this very important one that gets the name out about our chapter in the community. It's corporate outreach. I'll alert you to the contact person at the bottom right, Joni Lovell. Joni, are you here today? She's not. She was last time. Joni's doing a great job of making sure that we have a network of ambassadors who can reach out to the community, spread the good word, encourage people to get their certifications. And for those of us who are actively looking to keep our careers alive and well, this is one very good way for ambassadors to make sure that companies know the value that the PMI programs bring to them. So the key responsibilities here are to represent PMI professionally within their organization and at industry events. So a key role for these ambassadors would be someone who's already in a company, and they can easily spread the word within their network of people where they work. And there are also those types of ambassadors that can network freestyle and drum up information from other companies where they're not currently working. So ideal candidates would be engaged members who are strong relationship builders, connected to organizations and with project teams. There's a small commitment of time, of course, with all of these volunteer opportunities. This one has a commitment of about 4 to 6 hours per month, and it's flexible based on your schedule. If you're a good project manager, you'll be able to fit that in. Here is a different take on volunteering at PPRC. These are roles that require more involvement. We have a vice president role and 6 director roles. These are a little bit more time commitment in terms of tenure. So it could be more than a couple of meetings. This is an ongoing commitment. So I just want to emphasize that you would make a real contribution to the chapter. Let me go through some of the things on this slide. But I don't want to take too much away from Haley's time. I mean, she's just ready to go over there. So the volunteering aspect at PPRC, it's a great way to pursue your professional and personal growth at the same time. We need a vice president of professional development. So if you have a background in creating educational programs, not necessarily being in education, but if you've ever created training of individuals on a schedule, this is what this is about. It's an annual plan that the vice president would put together. And I'm unfortunately jumped down to the bottom of the list here with on the right-hand side of directors. If that role requires a lot of training that is in the plan for the year, there's a director that can assist the vice president with all of this work. So it's a commitment. It's a very important part of what we do. We want to emphasize and reinforce what you're learning in your certification programs and the ongoing PDUs with PMI. This is a great way to get involved and make the chapter strong and provide a service to those 1,000 members, because we want to grow even more membership. And if we're providing value in the form of training and other things, that's one way to keep the chapter healthy and growing. So let me just list off a few of the open director roles. Women in leadership. Krista has been spearheading a couple of meetings. We have one coming up. There's a slide for that in the deck. It's a very important position to promote growth and success of our PPRC women. We have an operations director to assist in these chapter meetings to make sure things are running smoothly. It's wonderful that you can be here in person, and if it's convenient, you can also attend virtually. We have an open position for a director of marketing to assist our VP of marketing. We need to get the word out about how great our members are. It's not a hard task. And director of volunteers, someone to help me. We have a wonderful party at the end of the year. So unless you join these volunteer activities, I won't invite you. Just a word to the wise. No, I'm just kidding. We need a director of communications to manage media and content, keep the members involved and up to date. So let me just go over to the left and say, what are the benefits? Why would you do this? Well, you want to put into practice those management skills you're learning. You want to work closely with our chapter leaders. You can make an impact on the future of the chapter. And of course, you earn PDUs, and you can bolster your career by networking across this region, which is very large, I have to say. If you are interested, these are my contacts, right? There's position descriptions at pmi.org. There's the link. But my email is vpvolunteers@pmiPPRC.org. Before I go to the next slide, are there any questions? Did you say you wanted to volunteer? Okay, great. Back to you, Krista.
Don't trip. Thank you. Okay. So I'm going to actually skip one slide. Takes a village for us to run this. These are the open positions that Mark just talked about. If you're interested, please talk to Mark. Please talk to myself. You would not be alone. We all support one another because we all have other jobs too, right? Okay. So real quickly, I'm going to go through our next few events, and then I'll call up Jeff, who, there you are. Okay. So Women in Leadership, we have coffee and networking April 25th from 9 to 11. Drop in anytime you want. It's at Third Space. You do not have to be a woman to go to this. We are open to everyone. It's just called Women in Leadership, okay? Next, we have our mock application workshop. This is outreach for military outreach, where we help veterans and their family members to do applications. Obviously, I'm sure that a lot of you are military or military adjacent. The application for any of the certifications is not military friendly. And what you guys do as military people is a lot different than what PMI expects. So we help you to do those applications and to be able to translate it into terms that PMI will accept those applications. And that is April 18th at Mount Carmel. It is in person and virtual. Getting to know PPRC is Tuesday, April 21st. It is a virtual thing. It is one PDU that is free. For those of you that need PDUs, come join us. We talk about PPRC and what we do. Our April open networking event is on the 22nd, which is the Wednesday after Getting to Know PPRC from 5 to 8. It is at Shame and Regret downtown. We have excited people. I'm super excited too. Unfortunately, I won't be here, but you guys have a lot of fun at this, okay? Next, we have a new volunteer opportunity that is open June 13th. The registration is open. It's at Ronald McDonald House. We will be providing, it's lawn care, right? And April, raise your hand. For those of you in the room, April is sitting at this table. If you have any questions, please ask her. Registration is open now. Save the date. We are going to the zoo, you guys. We are going to the Pueblo Zoo. It's member appreciation in July. We're a year ahead, 2026. We're a year ahead. Thank you. Thank you for saying that. So historically, those of you that have been members for a while, we're planning really far ahead. Those of you that have been members for a while, for 4 years, we went to the Vibes game. And what we did, it was free for members and free for guests, and then there was a price for additional members. The Vibes are not here anymore, so we're not doing it there. We thought this would be fun. Pueblo Zoo, we're trying to do a little bit of outreach too. We have over 10% of our membership is actually in the Pueblo area. It's a kind of fun zoo. Well, it is a fun zoo. It's I'm sorry. I'm going, my perspective is I went to high school in Northern Virginia because my dad was stationed at Pentagon. So there really is no zoo besides that National Zoo. It's pretty amazing. And last year I went to the Australia Zoo. This is not there, but I took my grandson to this zoo 2 weekends ago. The penguin picture is mine and the train picture is mine. It's a great little zoo. It's free for you guys and one member, and then you can add more people for $10. We will have food from McAllister's Deli. The sign up will be soon, but please make a plan for it. It's Saturday, July 25th. Perhaps for Salida, that's closer. I don't know. but it's going to be fun. It's very exciting for us. It's a new thing to do. So, and you can be there from 9 to 5. You can be there any of that time. The free food is at 11:30. That was a lot. I'm sorry. Haley, I'm sorry that I'm late. Mentorship program. We currently have 22 mentor-mentee program pairs. If you're interested in mentoring or you're interested in menteeing or both, please feel free to scan the QR code, go to PMI PPRC. This is something that we do that is not member only. So if you know somebody that's kind of looking to look at, finding out what program project management is, take advantage of us and take advantage of it being free. Okay. We have a lot of people that have a lot of good knowledge, and if it's not the right pair, we can find somebody else. Just let's make sure that you're very honest about what you want and what's expected both ways so that it works for both of you. I was not by myself today at Ask Me Anything, Mark. Thank you. Every Thursday, almost every Thursday at 12:30, I am on a Teams call. You can scan that QR code. You can ask me anything you want. I also have on my email, book time with me, usually Mondays and Tuesdays, 1 hour during lunch, 12 to 1, because I do have a job too. But if you need anything, and come and talk to me here too, or send me an email, president@PMI-PPRC. Now I'm going to introduce Jeff Stivers, who's going to introduce our speaker and talk about one other event. All right, here you go.
Thanks, Krista. Yeah, Jeff Stivers, Director of Speaker Engagement. And if you didn't know, we tried to organize our speakers this year kind of by themes. And so we just wrapped up the first quarter, which was project management fundamentals. And now we're kicking off kind of the second quarter, which is our leadership kind of focus. And so next month, we have Brian Alimenti, who's going to be our kind of keynote speaker during the chapter meeting, but then he's also sticking around for an extra day to put a workshop on in the morning. So we definitely ask you to take a close look at that. We'd love for you to come out to that. One thing of note for the speaker meeting is we're going to be offering member headshots for free. So it's an opportunity for all of our members to get that professional headshot taken. So we're going to be doing that during our chapter meeting. And then obviously the workshop is the next day. Little point of just to make sure you understand how that's going to work. If you actually register for the chapter meeting in person, then the workshop is free the next morning. If you register for the virtual chapter meeting, then you actually have to register separately and pay for the workshop. So definitely encourage you to come in person for the chapter meeting and then stick around for the workshop the next morning. So because both events will be here at the Marriott. So that's coming up next month. But before that, we have tonight. I guess I need to do this. And tonight's speaker, I think, single-handedly put Artemis II in space, right? No, she does work for NASA, but I'm sure she'll talk more about that. But Haley Anthony is our speaker tonight. She's been a speaker for us before in the past, has a lot of experience. I'm not going to steal her thunder on her background and what she's here to talk to us about, but please welcome Haley Anthony.
Something will not work, so bear with me. All right, so how many of you have actually been to one of my classes before? And how many of you were in Conversations That Count? Maybe no, some of you, okay. So this is gonna be a little bit different. So a lot of the feedback that I got was that people really wanted more tools for their tool belt, especially when it comes to conflict with employees. However, there were other conversations where I had leader to employee relationships. So how many of you have direct reports in here? Quite a few of you, okay. And then also, how do I talk to my leader? How do I talk to my peers? How do I talk to my friends or my spouse? So that's something we're gonna cover a little bit today. So a little bit about me. I'm the Director of Enterprise IT Operations and Engineering for NASA NEST on the NEST program. I'm a senior leader for a Fortune 500 company, managing a $3 billion program for a 4-letter agency. No biggie. I have 3 teams that report up to me. We did not single-handedly put it in space, but we do the mission freezes and many other things to make sure that computers don't update during launches because that's frowned upon. I do that during the day. I moonlight as an executive coach. So I'm the founder and owner of Rise Executive Coaching. We were Best of the Springs Gold for business coaching and human resources. So we help people find jobs, primarily veterans. So this has been my baby. Uh-oh, I don't see notes on here. That's not good. We can change it before I go to the next slide. You're my shero. Thank you. Oh, I ain't gonna be able to help you. Should be notes. Like, yeah, go back. You need to see notes here. Yep. There you go. Look at you. You need a job? I'm a professional certified coach through ICF, so it's the equivalent of PMI to the PMP. It's an overarching ethical authority. I'm also board certified through the National Board of Certified Counselors. So you'll see a little bit, means I'm trauma informed. It gives me some clout in the therapy circle. So I'll talk a little bit about some of the emotions and things that can come up during this today. All right, why this class matters to leaders. So discussions, we all have difficult conversations in the workplace, and those are really where stakes are high, opinions are differing, and emotions are running strong. And we all end up in a place where we have high anxiety and we ride that emotional roller coaster up the hill. You all have done it. I can feel it. It doesn't matter if it's with your boss, with an employee, or with your teen. I think some of us have some teenagers in this room. This will apply to some of them too. We also have the outcomes of our professional and personal lives are significantly shaped on how well we handle these conversations. It can make or break us as leaders. We've had situations where leaders go into this unprepared. They don't have HR on their side, and they are the ones that end up getting in trouble. And that is what we want to avoid. This is really what we're going to be exploring today. So I really want to encourage you guys. How many of you guys have a conversation at the front of mind when I'm talking about this? You're like, oh my gosh, I know I need to do that. Yeah, I see you. Yes. So there's a few of you in here that do. And you guys need to think of that because I'm very interactive. So I don't know if that's good or bad for some of you, but I will be asking a lot of questions. If you have a situation that really is more confidential or you want to talk to me about at the end of this, I will offer a free 30-minute consult and we can hang out. And you can kind of unload on what's going on and maybe get some guidance as well. So with discomfort comes growth. With that said, please be uncomfortable today. I'm going to make you uncomfortable. You're going to go through, you're going to write things down, and you're going to go, oh, I don't know if I can do that. You're not going to be able to grow unless you start doing that. All right. So I'm going to give you a framework today. However, the truth of the matter is when you get into amygdala hijack, when you're in these wonderful conversations, framework goes right out the window. Some of you I know some of you I've coached, you will put a sticky note on your screen, you'll do something along those lines, have some notes that you can follow. It goes out the window when emotions start to run hot. So we'll go through the framework a little bit today. You may want to take some pictures and you can, as you're writing your stuff down, but just keep that in mind. It's completely okay, and sometimes you have to wing it. All right, so quick show of hands, one more time. I need all of you to have them raised. Who has an actual discussion front of mind right now that you're going to have here in the next few weeks? None of you? Your lives are perfect. Everyone at Krista's table is perfect. Okay. Krista's perfect? Oh, man. Well, we're going to do some exercises where you guys can actually write it out or put it in your phone. It'll be helpful. All right, definition of psychological safety. Anyone know the definition of psychological safety? Take a shot, you guys. Come on. Go ahead. Very good. It is a shared belief among team members where the environment is safe enough to be vulnerable. It's really all it is. And when you're in a conversation, it's going to do this. Especially if it's difficult, it's going to be all over the place. So unspoken frustrations, this is the spiral that you're going to get into. You have those initial negative feelings. And when we get those negative feelings, we make assumptions. And they're always negative. It never fails. Every time. It's not, oh, they're out for my best interest. It's they did this because they're trying to fire me. They're trying to get rid of me, or they're just out to make me look bad. And I've done this a few times myself, so that's probably why I'm aware. Avoidance or side conversations. So then you call your best friend who's sitting at that table. She's probably deserves some beer after this, where I call and I say, gosh, this person, they're driving me to drink. And we just go down that path. It's not fixing the problem, it's spiraling. Then you blow up or shut down. So the conflict erupts or one party withdraws completely. Now, that's not necessarily the case with leader to employee relationships, right? The leader, I would have a conversation with my employee, but I may already have some perceptions that are completely inaccurate walking into that. And then your trust is damaged. So this isn't just at work. Friends, teens, spouse, girlfriend, boyfriend. All right, so this is the framework, and I've already warned you. This will go out the window. So you have choose the real conversation. You're going to lead with intent and safety. And I cannot emphasize that enough. When things start to go and spiral, the safety is the piece. And it's going to be through curiosity, and we'll go through that here in a second. You're going to, I'm going to skip 70 slides ahead. There we go. We're going to exchange observable facts and impact, not accusations. Ask and actively listen. This one is hard when you're emotional. To think of clarifying questions, and you're going to start with how and what, not why. Can anyone tell me why we don't use the word why when we're having conversations like that are high stakes? Oh, it is. So, and you can't do it without a tone, right? Why did you not take the trash out? Like you start kind of, see, you're laughing because I'm right. You start to go down this path, and the other person in the receiving end's like, yeah, that doesn't feel very good. And you can turn every why question into how or what. They literally, that's the majority of coaching. As we go into school and training, we learn how to do that. Last but not least, you're going to resolve to decisions, boundaries, and follow through. I like to just say, we're just going to fix it. You're going to get the follow through and move forward. So here's your pre-conversation checklist. So we're going to do the prep here in a second. So I want you guys to start thinking, start typing. I see some of you typing. So we're going to go through CPR here in a second, content, pattern, relationship. You really want to be able to hone in on what the problem is. Your desired outcomes. So you want to clearly define what you want to achieve, because when you get nervous and spiral, you're going to lose sight of that. Facts, not assumptions. Story and impact. Intent. How many of you struggle with assuming positive intent? Yeah, when you're having these conversations, being able to sit with them and just be like, you know what, maybe it's okay. I had an employee who was late often, couldn't figure out why. And I made the assumption that he was just lazy. He was taking care of his mom, who was really sick. And so we sat down and I was ready. I was like, this is when I was young. I was in my early 20s. I was in clinical engineering at UC Health. I was not a good leader. I would not have worked for me back then at all. But he came in and I was like guns a-blazing. I was ready. And he's like, my mom's really sick. And I've been taking her to some appointments in the mornings on Tuesdays and Thursdays. That's an FMLA thing now, right? So we got him the help he needed to do the right thing. But man, I remember sitting in my office going, I'm a jerk. Like, why did I think that? Opening draft. So you want to prepare an effective way to start. We're going to spend a lot of time in de-escalation. How many of you, when you have a difficult conversation, this is where you struggle? It starts to escalate and spiral, and then you're done. You guys are going to have fun watching me trip up here. It's going to be great. It's okay. At least there's not a table. Last time I had to dance around a table. De-escalation, is that a challenge for anyone? Big challenge. Okay. Anyone have teenagers? Am I the only one here? I feel like I'm the only one with teenagers at times. And then the closing plan. So the desired result of the convo, of the conversation versus the desired result of the situation. I'm going to go back to that second bullet. I will tell you sometimes that's different. When you have the crucial conversation with that employee, sometimes you want to get under their skin. You want a response. That the desired outcome is that they keep their job, they shift their behavior, and they become better. So you have to kind of sit back and go, okay, my desired outcome is this, but my desired end state of this conversation is I'm going to make them a little mad, and that's okay. Before you do any of this, though, Who do you think needs to be on board, engaged, and have your back? Just say it loud, guys. I hear you whispering. HR. Don't go in with this without HR. I think that's the biggest mistake. A lot of these are like, I've got it. I'm the leader. No, it is a team effort. And if you can get HR on board, they're going to support you. And it's a united front because that's the first person the employee is going to go to. So this is also helpful if you're going to be meeting with your leader. You can do this as well. It's going to be a different tone, and we're going to go into that. Your peer, I'm going to show you some great examples of terrible peer conversations, some of my own, and also friends, spouses, etc. All right, so here's your prep, guys. So start typing on your phone something. What is the situation? You want the facts, not assumptions. The impact, so you're going to describe the consequences or effects of the situation on you, others, and the project. What you want to achieve. So this is going to be the macro and the micro. You want, what is the desired outcome for the situation overall, and what is the desired outcome of the conversation? And then your planned opening sentence. Just write that sentence and put it there. And we're going to go into that here in a second. And your outcome and goal, you want to empower people. That's a big thing with your employees. All right. Does anyone here, before we go into CPR, does anyone have any issue, like challenges that are up front right now, front of mind, where you're struggling with figuring out what the purpose of it, like what is the actual issue? Nobody. You guys are still eating, aren't you? I see it. All right. Content pattern relationship. So we want to make sure that we are actually, I see you back there. You want to make sure that you're actually focused on the right challenge. So I had that employee that was coming and missing Tuesdays and Thursdays. The first one he did, it was like, okay, that's the content. But then we had a pattern, recurring behavior, continued. And then the relationship was that he wasn't there on time for the team, so it started to impact them negatively. So can it be one or all three, or does it have to be just one? No, it doesn't. It can be all three. It can have an impact on everything. We use CPR, and honestly, I'll be very direct. I don't use this. And it's probably because I've been doing this for 25 years. So I will sit down. I already know what the problem is, where we're going, and probably what needs to happen. But I know that in my head, but I want to give them the chance to be heard and sit down with them and allow them to tell their story and create that safety. And then you can do this across the relationship. So I would probably say that I use this more with my leader. And I have the best boss in the world. He puts up with me. I don't know why. He seems to like me. Keeps giving me raises. But when we sit down and I'm not happy with him and he knows it, hey, sir, I am frustrated. He knows if I call him sir, I'm not happy with him. His name's Brian. I've got a lot of Brians in my life, apparently. But I'm like, hey, sir, we need to have a conversation. I'm not happy with how this went. And then I usually come with the suggested solution that is aligned. So notice with leaders, it says data or strategic impact. This is what I'm seeing. This is what the data says. This is the direction you want to go, and this is how it's going to be aligned. What are your thoughts? Usually he doesn't say no. Lately he has been, though. He's been grumpy. Luckily he's on vacation. So lead with intent. So those of you who took my initial class, we talked about this as start with heart. Crucial Conversations talks about this as start with heart. You want to ask those clarifying questions, articulate your core objective, share positive intent, assume positive intent in others. Is this easy to do when you have an employee that's a low performer? I hear you laughing back there. Is this easy to do when you have an employee that's a low performer? It is for you, okay? Not for others. Why is it not easy? They don't have good intentions. They're out to get you. What else? Why else is it difficult? What was that? You're already frustrated. You're already not in a good place to be having the conversation. So coming in and sitting down and being able to articulate it and share positive intent and assume that they have positive intent in you isn't easy. So you're going to really have to sit with your own emotions and feel your feelings. I have a story about how I failed that. That's going to be coming up here shortly for your entertainment pleasure. But you want to make sure you're prepared accordingly. All right. Defensiveness is often a perception of intent. So if your employee, your leader, I've had my leader Brian's gotten defensive with me a few times because I'll make a statement. I'm not thinking it through and I just make some flippant statement. He's like, hey, ouch. That's his new thing. So ouch. Sorry, boss. So we want to make sure that we have that mutual purpose and mutual respect. So psychological safety, we talked about mutual purpose. You want to make sure that you're there with a common goal. That's really helpful with your peers. I cannot emphasize that enough. So I had a peer that, and we're going to talk about her here in just a second. You actually get to see a Teams message she sent me. It was beautiful. She no longer works for the organization. I'll go into that too. So anyway, you want to have that mutual purpose of sitting down and going, hey, I'm here to help you. I'm reaching across the aisle. I need this support, especially when you guys aren't doing well. One of the conversations I had yesterday, I actually have to have a follow-up with this person because he ticked me off. We were in a meeting. I had my deputy with me, and it had to do with printers, and they keep trying to dump work on my infrastructure team. No, we have a vendor for this. There's no reason for them to be doing it, and they're not even trained to do it. So we're in this call, and the employee that got fired that I mentioned a second ago, they replaced her with a male version of her. It's really great. We're winning. We are winning at NASA. And he's my peer. So we're sitting there on a call, and what does he do? I feel like we're having this, I felt like it was Groundhog Day, literally yesterday. And he's telling me, hey, you need to take this. Your team's gonna have to do this. My deputy's about to lose his mind because it's his team. And I said, hey, I feel like this is a program management decision. This is over our heads. They need to understand our restraints, our training requirements, monetary issues, and we'll go from there because my guys aren't equipped to do this. And his response is, I'll win that argument. So mutual purpose is out the window. Mutual respect's definitely out the window. I'm already defensive. I just sat there for a minute. My deputy knows what's coming. This is what's beautiful. He just goes quiet. And I'm standing there, or I'm sitting at my desk. I'm looking at my screen. I said, what was your intent with that statement? My deputy knows to just let that land. He is not saying a word. He is silent. He is blowing up my teams. He's like, you're going to eat him alive. And I'm just sitting there. I was done. And I just sat there and he's, well, and he starts stuttering and backpedaling and going down the path. But I did something very specific there. I shined a light right on what he said with a how or a what. This isn't me versus you. This is us versus the problem. And we need to align to solve it together. Cultivating psychological safety, you want to find the root of defensiveness. And then you could kind of go through these in regards to your leader, your peer, and your direct reports. Exchange facts and impact. So we're talking about SBI and then we'll go into SBII. So situation, behavior, impact. This is very important when you're documenting for employees. When you're documenting anything, when you're sitting there and you had a situation that was terrible and you need to like write it down, HR may ask for it later, this is how you want to do it. The problem with this is that it's sterile. You don't want to walk into a conversation like this. It's missing warmth. What would provide warmth? What should you have with people, employees, peers? A starts with an R, I'll help you out. Rapport, relationship, you should have something. So when you come in and you say, hey, this is the situation over in the cafeteria, you said this, and this is how it impacted the team or whatever, you need to have some warmth behind it. So let's talk about this wonderful Teams message that got sent to me by this peer that no longer works here. So she's the great. Now, reading this, does it seem unprofessional, her response? I'm not giving you any background yet. This was out of nowhere, random Tuesday at 10 a.m., whatever, 9:30, she shoots that to me. Does it seem unprofessional? And not a lot of context, right? But if you just received this out of nowhere, you didn't have a relationship or lack thereof with this person, would you see that as unprofessional? Hey, there you go. It's a phone call. I love it. We don't do that at NASA ever. Yeah. So it's direct and clear, right? She's pretty pointed in it. So I'll give you some history. 2 senior leaders This person thought she was going to be my boss and she was going to put our deputy out of business. Yeah, she came right in guns a-blazing. He hired her, might I add. I still blame him for that. She came in, I was the only one on the team she didn't start an investigation on. I don't know why. She liked me for some reason, but that's how she talked to me. It was very accusatory and corrective. She's acting like my boss. It's kind of territorial and very siloed, and that is something at our level, being managers of managers, we cannot be. They throw us in a room and my boss is like, we need to get to this budget. Guess what we do? We get to that budget and we give and take, and we have great relationships. Lacks context. This also lacks a big one, and this is one I really, if you learn nothing else from me today, curiosity. When you're mad, ask questions to try and understand it. So let's go through SBII, because that comes into inquiry. So as you go through this, enhance the feedback loop, core inquisitive. So you're going back to SBI, situation, behavior, impact, inquiry. You're going to end it with an example, or excuse me, with a question, a how or what question. And there's examples on here for your direct reports, your peers, and your leaders. So as you go through, I'm trying to be mindful of time here. Anything stand out on this with the inquiry? How does it feel to read these? Do they feel different? In situation, whatever the behavior resulted in this impact, could you share your perspective on what you were trying to achieve with that, sir? How can I better align? Is it hard to read? Oh, I'm so sorry, you guys. I did not know that. Okay. So let's talk about situation, behavior, impact, and inquiry. So if I gave you a situation, a behavior, actually, let's go back. How could she have done that better? Called me, yes. Okay, God, can we work together? This had to do with my employee, and I kicked her over to her team because she was running mobile device management stuff. Because she had, it's a low performer employee who has had something for like 10 years that she shouldn't have. So I'm like, just go over there and have them just relationship, talk to him. So there's history here. Lucy had a cell phone. That's what's going on. But no, yes, she should have called me, absolutely. But what else? How could she have made that better? That first paragraph. Curious. You act like you've taken my classes. I don't know. I like it. What else? What is a question she could have asked? Oh. I thank you for saying something though. I appreciate you. Yeah. How did that happen? Hey, Haley, what's going on? How can I help support this situation? I need to figure out what's going on, why she got sent to Desiree. Sure, I'd be happy to tell you. So that's how we put it into an inquiry. All right, we're going to go into clean language. So we're in the E, and then we have AR. So observation versus evaluation. How many of you get stuck when you're having these conversations? I want you to think about this more with a spouse and a partner, because maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm the one that gets messed up with this. I will come in, and rather than talking about an observation, I'm evaluating, right? Hey, I asked you to take the trash out and you didn't. Poor Brian over here is probably thinking, I'm looking at him. You know, you didn't take it out. You know, what's going on? What's that? Hey, there you go. I'm just pissed I had to ask you. Hey, friend, right? No, but instead it's like, why are you lazy? That's evaluation. Why are you lazy? Why are you out to make our house look gross? Like, can you just get off the video games and do it? I have some PTSD in this area, clearly. So it is not with him, might I add. He's an upgrade. All right. So translation. So how do you move from an evaluation to an observation? Like I just said, you go from you're lazy to, hey, I noticed the trash didn't get taken out. Do what you say you're going to do, right? That's not nice to say, but that's the perception I'm going to come from. Hey, you committed to something, you didn't do it. What's going on? Questions on this? Questions so far? You guys are so quiet. This is the quietest class I've had ever. I know. And maybe if you want to, do you have an example? What's going on in your life? Let's dig in. He's like, nope. You know what? I am running ahead of schedule, sir. So, you like it? I love it. They caught it. What you got? Pack your bags. We're going on a guilt trip. There you go.
So I got to speak as generically as I can. I got off a phone call with a client who has an expectation for a level of detail that is not within our scope. It is a very low level of detail actually required. We've gone beyond that. And so there's that obvious disconnect. I think that's okay. Then we have the actual broker between our client and us who has in a previous meeting says, yeah, I'm on your side, but you have to redo all this work is what the customer wants. And the client's comment, and it gets in, I love this, your thing. What did you mean by that comment? What was your intent behind that comment? Made a statement that, hey, there's plenty of other firms that are really good at this work.
Yep.
And would naturally do this. And I'm like, well, and we would too, but we're not going to do it ×3 when you haven't even made, that's our final solution, not our figuring it out
So
solution.
it sounds like you have multiple things.
Yes. And so I'm applying this all.
It sounds like you have multiple things.
Yeah.
We're going to have fun on 30 minutes. Like, do we have enough time? So which one do you want to actually address on that? I just want the problem gone. Well, and that sounds like that. Well, there you go. There you go. But tell me more about the comment you just said. I know we have another microphone. You just said you liked my comment about the question that I asked. What was your intent behind that? I'm going to stop. I'm going to shut up in color while you do your thing. Okay, I'm holding on. Come on, come hang out with me. You're front center. Danny, help. There we go. No, stay there.
So luckily, I did not, I'm hearing this comment.
Okay, so you don't know if it's accurate. Maybe.
I don't believe it to be inaccurate.
Okay.
I didn't have to react immediately, which is great. Because then I have time to think about it. But
Okay.
for me, when I heard that from the other person is, hey, this person said that, I'm like, you know, I didn't phrase it like what's your intent, but immediately my thing, that's a threat.
Right?
It's a veiled threat, but it's a threat.
But that's an assumption.
That is an assumption.
Yeah.
But
You
I
also
didn't-
weren't there.
But well, and so my comment back was, well, this needs to be elevated to the contracting officer.
Yeah.
You know, because I think the contracting officer would have a very different perspective of what is within scope versus without.
So that's fair. That's accurate. I'm actually elevating stuff too. So if you were in a moment, you couldn't pay me enough to be a CO ever, ever. So if you were in that moment again and actually got said to you, what would you respond with?
Oh, I'm putting in my library of responses.
How do
What
you-
was your intent with that statement?
Yeah, but
I
so
like that.
so I said that to a peer. It's a little different. You're going to say it to a customer. How do you think that's going to land? They can leave and take their money elsewhere, right? Yeah, contracts, right? Yeah, I got you.
Well, it's the tone of voice you say it in as well.
It is. Oh, that's very accurate.
I'm sorry.
How do you expect me to respond to that?
Yeah.
That's another
That's
one
a
I
good
like to
one.
say. That's usually one I usually say to my customers. How do you expect me to respond to that?
I think a lot of people make comments and don't realize that they're making threats, whether it's personal, children, parents.
So let's talk about that. So empathize for a minute. That customer had expectations that clearly were beyond the scope.
I'm an engineer. I have a low empathy IQ.
I know, and y'all work for me, and bless you. And probably all my engineers to some extent are either ADHD or on the spectrum.
I used to supervise
joking.
clinical engineering. So
Oh, hey, Fran. Yeah. So going back, how would that land? And then when you're talking about the assumptions and the actually going back, you were talking about the empathy, right? So have some empathy. Where are they coming from in that? When they say that to you? I want all of you to come work with me. My gosh, you'd upgrade real quick.
yes, I would say, I don't think that person, because they're supposed to be the broker, is trying to get something for free. I think because originally they were like on our side, yeah, we're going to end up doing this. But when push comes to shove, they're trying to please their customer.
Right.
And so
So there's the empathy.
it's friction avoidance.
They're trying to please their customer. So they're between a rock and a hard place
Yep.
too. So how do you leverage that in a way that doesn't set them on fire?
I elevate it to my supervisor.
You just flicked the booger. Got it. Okay, great job.
I mean, I do my best, but at a certain point,
You got to kind of step away and give it to someone else. Agreed. No, you're good. You've earned your sucker for the evening. Good job. Thank you. I appreciate you. So transform your opening statements. You're going to want to engage with that question. So state your intent, SBI model, goal of the transformation. So situation, behavior, impact, your goal, and then the question, the how or what question. All right, so let's talk about this. This leads beautifully into it because I can tell that is an emotional situation for you. You're about to see me raw here in a second. So demonstrate empathy and build trust. You want to control that emotional tone. So we were just talking about empathy because we can empathize. We're not going to be emotional. We're going to navigate those high stakes situations, overcome their emotional responses. Can you control their emotional response? No, but do we try? Yeah. Does it go well? No, never. And then you apply this based on the relationship. So I'm going to give you an example that's very near and dear and tender to me because it happened last year before Thanksgiving. I had an employee named Charlie. He passed away. 25 years of experience. I've never had an employee die, ever. His husband found him. He had a heart attack at home and he was no call, no show the next day. My infrastructure team was like, where's Charlie? They went over to the house, found out what happened. They were devastated. This man had been with NASA since Orion. He was well known by our government, our peers and our customers. It was a big deal. I was devastated. I've never lost an employee. So that I've never felt grief in the workplace. I felt anger in the workplace, but I never felt grief. And it can be somewhat similar, but it was very different for me. And at the time, I had a scheduled hour. It was a few days after he had passed with his husband. So Corey, Charlie's husband, he didn't know how to pay bills. Charlie did all that. He didn't know anything about insurance. He didn't know any of that. So I took time out of my day to sit down with him to get him aligned. And I was in a state where I knew I was going to be emotional. And I wanted to also create space for his emotions and then also get some work done so that he felt safe. So I scheduled this out, I prepared, and Emily, the lovely lady who wrote me that Teams message, I get a fire into my Teams. Haley, we have an emergency. I need you on a call right now. My response, no. It's complete sentence. No. She calls me in anyway. She calls in our boss who's on vacation. So think of the labor costs in this meeting at the moment, but it's an emergency. And I get in there and she is trying to take work This might sound familiar from the conversation I had yesterday, and dump it onto my infrastructure team. The team that just lost their peer. I mean, I couldn't have a conversation with William, and these are older men. These men are in their 50s and 60s. They're seasoned, they're old Southern men. You like that? Older men, and they've been doing this a very long time. And to hear them cry is heartbreaking. And so I'm trying to manage their workload right now. And it's not going very well. And she's trying to dump this stuff on. And by the way, it needs to be done in a week and a half, Haley. Okay, and my words were, this feels a little tone deaf. And luckily my boss had my back. I said, this feels a little tone deaf. They just lost an employee. Why are we dumping work? And she was fighting me. She goes, Haley, I recognize that you just had an employee pass away and that's really difficult. However, we still have a business to run. Oh my. So I literally stopped. I said, Brian, I can't be on this call anymore. I need to leave. No, I need you here. I said, Brian, if I stay on this call, you will have to fire me. And I hung up the phone. When you're heightened like that, what do? How do you bring yourself back to center? Give me examples. What? Step away. Okay, what else? Breathing exercises, yoga, what else? Drink liquor. I like you. I did none of that. I sat down to ChatGPT and I took every piece of documentation I had on her and I dropped it into ChatGPT. I said, write an email to human resources with this data and write it in a manner that gets her fired. She was terminated 2 days later. I was furious. She was gone. And the best part was my boss calls me the next day. He goes, I don't know what you did, but I just got approval. And I was like, you're welcome. And that was pretty much it. But I learned 2 things from this situation. The first one is I don't deal with grief well. I don't deal with grief in the workplace. And I just got done saying it comes with perfect practice, handling emotions. I don't hope any more of my employees die. That's kind of frowned upon. So I'm going to be okay with not being okay with grief. I know now that if someone dies on my team, I probably need to take some time off and go be with their partner or whatever and go hang out with them and help them out. The second thing I learned, which probably goes against everything that I've presented tonight, is that sometimes we have to put the yoga, the breath work, and all that stuff aside and just burn the place down. And having the discernment to know the right time for that, may the odds be ever in your favor, because I felt like I was lucky on that one. So she was removed, and now I'm dealing with thing 2, and it's been a journey. But going back to that, don't have the conversation if you're emotional. Active listening. Pause is very, very, very important. So we all kind of know about paraphrase and emotional label. We've done these. Anyone who's done marriage counseling knows this, like the back of their hand. This one isn't used enough, and it's so important. Pause, what a gift. I'm being tested right now. So pausing for yourself so you don't respond emotionally, that's a big one. There's a difference between reacting and responding. Reacting is emotional, response is unemotional. Pausing also after you ask that how or what question and sitting in silence. I think the biggest skill set I have to teach my leaders is how to sit in silence, especially overperforming ones who are trying to fix somebody. So they take on all the work and they do all the things and they have to fill the silence with words. Silence is uncomfortable. You want to create discomfort, you do it with silence. I do it with my boss all the time. He's better at it than I am though, so. All right. De-escalation. We've talked about this a few times already. You want to pace yourself. This is going to be hard when you get really excited. You're going to be talking fast. Identified shared purpose. The open-ended questions, how and what. This is a big one I love to teach too with my coaching, is no response is a response. How many of you get tied up in those emails? Someone sends something and you're like ready per my last email. Yeah, that's a big one. Pause. No response is a response. I had someone who never even hired me as a coach sent me a terrible 8-paragraph email about how terrible I was. We do not take feedback from someone we would not go to for advice. That's kind of what I like to teach people. I don't care what you think. So it goes into filter feedback, direct report relationship, peer, and your leader. Very different. So with your direct report, it's coaching. With your peer, you're really trying to collaborate, that big C word. And with your leader, you're really trying to align. All right, let's go into reactions. This is the part that struggles the most. We're perfect on time right now too. So how many of you, when you guys have a crucial conversation, what's the reaction that you struggle with the most? With your employee, with your boss, with your peer, spouse, what happens? What spirals it out? Come on, guys. What's that? Defensiveness, tell me more. Knee-jerk reaction. So they're having the knee-jerk reaction or you are? They are. When you make a statement about feedback or trying to get them to go somewhere? Okay. And it's negative, obviously. It's not positive. Yeah, they're not thankful. Knee-jerk reaction that's thankful? Never? Okay. So deflection. So we're going to go through the knee-jerk reactions. And when they come at you, do they attack you? Wasn't me. Yeah. Yeah, someone so did this and so we're going to go into that too. So deflection. So this is pretty much what you're just saying right now, where they are saying other people are doing it. So I acknowledge it and I'm like, hey, okay, I understand Jill did this and Jennifer did that, but we're going to park that and I'm going to handle that. And we're going to focus on you. So that's how I handle it with employees. I handle it differently with my son. So he likes to place blame. He's 16. It's everyone else's fault. He's failing algebra 2. Dad's a CFO and an accountant and mom works for NASA. I don't know how he's failing algebra 2, but that's a whole different story. But he'll deflect and I say, hey, thank you for bringing that to me. Let's go ahead and have that conversation. We'll do that tomorrow because it's important. You're struggling with these things. And I want you to hear that. Spouses love to do that. You bring something to a spouse or a partner and, hey, you didn't do this. And they have 700 things built up. Unspoken expectations or premeditated resentments. So if you're not, yeah, you might, I need to crochet that onto a pillow or whatever that is. Yeah, I live by that motto. You're not telling me something's wrong, nothing's wrong. And to come at me and attack me with 7 things when I have this one thing, hey, honey, it's important. All of that's important. You're going to take me out to dinner tomorrow publicly, and we're going to talk about those things. But right now, can we address this thing? Unspoken expectations are premeditated resentments. Anyone done Gottman therapy for marriage counseling? Yeah, that is. But Gottman therapy, that's a big one. 4 horses of the apocalypse. One of them is resentment. Literally, they talk about this, and resentment ends everything. So you want to stay out of that. Shut down. So I don't really do this. I'm going to disagree with some of this. Some of the stuff is like PhDs went and learned a bunch of stuff and they actually have never been leaders. I literally went to a class at UCCS when I was a leader at UC Health. And I asked the guy, I said, hey, what have you done? You know, were you a leader? I expected some big wig. He's like, oh, I worked at Burger King. And then I went and decided to get into academia. Good to know. So he's teaching us leadership, and it was funny because all of us are like, yeah, that's not how it is in the real world. This is important. Don't misunderstand. But this is important for if you have employees or people that are more introverted and having those conversations. My low performers that are not introverted, when they shut down and they go quiet, that they'll do it all the time if I let them. So I come back around and I will task them with something. This is why it's important HR is on your side. Get out of your way. I see pictures being taken. So no, go right ahead. So I will task them, hey, by noon tomorrow, I want an email in my inbox with how you're going to resolve this. Now, I work with senior level engineers and architects that report to me. I would do it a little different with frontline employees. Frontline employees sometimes don't always know how to solve it, so we'll brainstorm together. But if I'm paying you $150K a year to run NASA, you better figure out how to solve these problems because I ain't doing it for you. So use it. If it's useful, don't use it otherwise. Handling excuses, that was also mentioned. It is not your job to solve their problems. It's your job to remove barriers. There's a difference. People say servant leadership and they think, oh, I've got to solve all that. No, you do not. So I do a lot of work with people who are over functioning in their roles. This can be used with partners too. How do we achieve this goal, or how has our goal changed? And you start to kind of look at things a little bit differently and identifying the new future impact and prevention. How many of y'all have people that interrupt you consistently? Yeah, yeah. How do you regain, I guess, control of that conversation when that happens? Oh, I like you. She stomps a mud hole right away. Bam. I like it. You will respond when I am done with my statement. What else? That's a good one. She just keeps talking. You talk through the interrupter. Oh my gosh, you're my favorite type of person. I like to just watch those conversations. I don't want to be a part of it, but I like watching them. You were saying something. You're good? Okay. He's like, she talk through them. Yeah. So interruption, steamrolling, it completely dismantles the conversation, and how she handled it is perfect. I mean, she had some anger behind that tone, but it's more, yes, hey, when I'm done, I usually go quiet and let him go. And then I say, please don't interrupt me again. That sets a tone right there. Don't interrupt me again. And then I finish and we go through. Does that shut down dialogue? If I do it like that? Absolutely. Do I care most of the time in those situations? Not so much. Just depends on the employee. I do have high performers that love to just, in their ADHD, it's very common with our ADHDers, they have a million ideas and they just want to get them out on the table. I will sit there and I will just take notes and I let them go. And then we usually have kind of a buzzword that we'll use. I'll just, hey, or put my hand out. I was like, it's my turn. I have the talking stick. Like we joke around like that. And that's how I get them to let me speak to get through to what we need to do. But you got to identify, is it disrespect or excitement? That's really kind of where you have to tear it down. So from disagreement to decisions, separate people from the problem, focus on interests, not positions. You're going to invent options, so you're going to brainstorm, and then you're going to insist on objective criteria. And Krista, you're putting these slides out for them to see, right? Yeah, there's a lot. So you guys that are taking a lot of photos, you guys will be able to have access to these. Bless you. These are all tools for your tool belt. This is a big one a lot of people don't do. Who, what, when, and follow up. And you don't want vague endings. So when you're really high and excited and just like really upset or whatever, when you're in your amygdala, you forget this part. So you just want them out of your office. You're like, please leave. Please get out. And you don't actually end it with expectations for the next meeting. If that happens, highly recommend emailing. And that way it's documented. Which brings me to my next one, documentation without micromanaging. This is for your employee. If you're going to send it to HR, add situation, add the SBI above it, essentially. The situation, behavior, impact, and then you can send it right to HR, and then you have that documented for them. Boundaries that hold. How many of you struggle saying no or overfunction by taking on all the work? I love you. She's like, no, absolutely not. No. How many of you guys like get in there and you start just doing all the work that the employee should be doing? No? No struggles with that? I've had a few. Okay. These are ways to not do that. You're going to prevent burnout by not taking stuff on, and you're just going to protect your time and energy when you learn to say no. I say no all the time. I say no before I even understand what they want. When I say that to my peers, and it's a running joke. Like our director of cyber, Haley, can you? No. And he's like, we're going to fight. And then we get through it and figure out that I actually really do need to help him with something. So this, my second to last slide here is, this is really nothing more. This is how you're supposed to apologize. This is the most important part. Not just you, but this is really helpful for your spouse to know too, I'm just saying. Acknowledge the impact, take responsibility, right? Own your contribution, state what you're going to do differently, rebuild working agreements and follow up. When you think of Apologies without changed behaviors are nothing more than manipulation. I had an employee named Isaiah. Every time we go in, he was the sweetest soul. I'm sorry. He's doing the same thing. By the third time we had a meeting and he was apologizing, I said that. I said, apologies without changed behavior are nothing more than manipulation, Isaiah. And I just let it sit. I was like, oh, this is going to be fun. Let's see what he says. And I heard the sigh. I was like, what are your thoughts on that? He's like, I've never thought of it like that. I was like, you're constantly apologizing, but you're not changing your behavior. He goes, it stings. And I go, can I take it deeper? He goes, yeah. And I was like, what's it like in your personal life? And he goes, oh my gosh, you just fixed my marriage. Because that was what was going on. He's constantly apologizing, not doing what he needed to do. I helped Isaiah find another job. It really came down to him not liking the role and he wasn't a good fit, but we were able to get him to where he needs to be. Another thing that you're going to add, this awesome man did this the other night, actually. He added a piece to this. We had a little bit of I don't want to say disagreement, but something was said and I was like, ooh, that didn't feel good. He gave me an idea of where it came from. Hey, I used to be a first sergeant and I'm really working on this. Talk about repair, because now I know a personal piece of his history and where it's stemming from. And now I can go, okay, when you do this, I'm going to say, ouch. So you know that I don't like it. Right? So when we start to learn our person's history, our employee's history, it makes it a little easier. These are my takeaways for today. For the evening. Last but not least, if you want a free 30-minute consult, go ahead and go in there. My calendar's open. You can go in and take some time, and then we'll just walk in and just be prepared with what you want to work on. Any questions for me?
Come to them.
Oh,
Come to Danny.
No, it's on now.
okay.
If you have questions, please come to Haley if you're in the room. And if you have questions online, please type them in.
Oh, yeah. Line people.
That's right.
I feel terrible.
No, you were good.
Okay.
You did a very good job of repeating when they didn't have that.
Okay.
Questions, you guys?
Questions
Comments?
online?
I see nothing online
right.
so far.
I don't want to put the turn this on.
Sure. All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Haley. Definitely, I suggest trying, if you're interested in this, do this. I will share that she is my executive coach too. So thank you. All right. So going forward, we're going to, we can end a little easy earlier, but feel free to stay around and network. Haley, I totally forgot to, I will send this to you. I do not have it. I'm so sorry. Maybe can we stand, Haley, can you stand in front of it and see if we could take a picture? Yes, Brad is going to take the picture for us. I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh. Yeah, there you go. Brad's taking it. So there you go. Oh, I'm moving over.
Thank you.
All right. And for those of you that have been to our meetings before, you know that we do honorariums on our speaker for Haley's. It's Mount Carmel. Mount Carmel is the Veterans Center that is down south in Colorado Springs. They do a lot for veterans. They actually let us use their space for our military outreach when we do our application workshop. Anything else you want to say about Mount Carmel? Yeah, they do a fantastic job. They have a neat facility there. All right, and I just didn't bring my phone up here. We have 3 winners tonight. And the winners, oh, sorry. For those of you that don't know what the winners are, you win a free virtual meeting. So our winners' names are Christopher, I'm going to butcher your last name, Dina Talley, Cam Goodhue, and Monica Springer. So thank you. Our director, or excuse me, our VP of membership will send you an email in the next few days and have the coupon code for that. This is the PDU code. We have 2 PDUs, Power Skills. You do not have to take a picture here. We will send out a survey. Feedback is a luxury. Please give us feedback on that survey, and it will be there as well. We also have a job board. I think there are 2 jobs listed on there right now. If you're interested, if your company is hiring, it's free to post a job. We have over 1,000 members that have our project management professionals. Please do that. We're really trying to promote this as well. And I know there's a lot of people that are looking for jobs. We also, if you want to connect with us, we have 3 different LinkedIns and a Facebook page. We have the official chapter page for LinkedIn, our military outreach on LinkedIn, and women in leadership in LinkedIn. And then the official chapter page for Facebook is there as well. Our upcoming events. I mentioned this before, but I'll mention it again. Military Outreach Application Workshop is on the 18th. 21st is Getting to Know PPRC. 22nd is Open Networking at Shame and Regret. The 14th is the chapter meeting. We have free headshots. Professional speaker Brian Alimenti is coming. The next day is the workshop. Again, it's 8:30 to 10:30 in the morning on Friday. It's at the Marriott as well. If you're in person, it's free. If you do the virtual and then want to come in person on the next day, it actually is the same price. What else? Calling all speakers. In September, we are going to do a PM industry panel, government defense, healthcare, construction, IT, and others. If you're interested in being on that panel, it will be held here at the Marriott. And speak with Jeff. Jeff, raise your hand. For those of you that cannot see him raising his hand, it's, what is it? Director, speaker engagement, director underscore, oh, it's right there. Thank you. His email is here, his phone number is here, and Phoenix is as well. In November, we have our unconference. For those of you that don't know what our unconference is, we usually have 3 to 4 speakers that are members, and they speak 10 to 15 minutes about whatever topic they want. We do vet the topic, but that is in November. We will also have an October meeting that's virtual. Anything else that I missed here? Okay. And lastly, thank you for joining us tonight. These are actually pretty new pictures, I think. So new pictures. As a reminder, we will send out the recording and the slides in PDF format on Sunday. Usually I try to do it in the afternoon. We'll see if I get it out, but it will be out by the end of day Sunday. Thank you guys for joining. Anything else that needs to be said? Okay, so with that, if those of you online, feel free to stay on and network with one another. Those of us in person, we're going to get off of the meeting and feel free to network in here. Okay, thank you. Those of you in here. Wait. A-Ray, am I off of the speaker on the online?